also remember when my son got old enough where I realized he was funny. My oldest son, he's so funny. And I was like, God, thank God he has that, because it gets you through everything, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
If you
Survival.
can, it's like the greatest survival mechanism, tool.
Girls, hey, how are you? Smile. People are starting to stare, so smile, God damn it. I'm Paul W. Downs from Hacks. She just had to get cancer and die for us to like each other.
I'm Bridget Everett from Somebody Somewhere.
That's why every day at 2 p.m. I get myself an outrageous bar and eat it alone in the stairwell. I'm David Allen Grier from St. Denis Medical.
I have a team to run, so if you'll excuse me. No, wait, this is my office. You get out.
Hi, I'm Kate Hudson from Running Point.
The only hat in South Dublin. Ow, 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 ow. Like cramp.
Hi, I'm Nathan Lane from Mid-Century Modern.
I knew it. This was a bad idea from the jump.
Hi, I'm Lisa Ann Walter from Abbott Elementary.
And you are watching
And you're watching
The LA Times.
In the LA Times
Envelope Comedy.
Roundtable.
Some of the best comedy walks the line between potentially being offensive and being really hilarious. It's edgy. So how do you know when you have crossed it or when you haven't gotten close enough to it? I'm going to start with you, Paul.
Well, you know, I think in a way, I mean, in our show, in Hacks, in the pilot, Gene Smart's character, Deborah Vance, says there is no line. Because I do think there's nothing really off limits, but it's really about execution and about thoughtfulness and about, in my mind, the thing that I think makes edgy comedy not funny is when it causes harm. When it's something that's punching down and it's not something that, you know, can bring people together, that to me is, I guess, when it isn't worth it. But I don't think there's really a line. I think there's any subject that you can tackle. I think there's nothing that's too taboo, because that's what comedy is for, is to, you know, examine those things, explore those things, get close to the edge.
Kayla, I'm not gonna work at Family Guy. Oh, I didn't say it was an offer. It's a good show. That guy, Brian, is hot.
The dog?
Is he a dog?
For me, I think like comedy is about making people feel good. And I want to make people feel joy. Like, you know, that's for what I like to do. And so as long as I'm not hurting anybody's feelings, I think everything's on the table, you know?
I don't think you know the edge. I mean, that's the whole game. That's why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done things where I thought, this is too much. People thought, oh, you could go further. Things where I thought we didn't go far enough. They were like, oh, you know. So you kind of have to play that game. Like, my intention is never to anger and offend and, you know, burn my house down. But you do have to put yourself in that position and take a chance, because you can't, especially with comedy. You can pre-screen it, but who are you pre-screening it to? Right. You know, 60-year-old white women, high school kids, you know, it could be what group. So you kind of have to take a chance.
Right.
Whew, that was hard.
That was good. No,
I kept talking. I was like, this is going to come together.
That was good.
It didn't work.
I felt personally offended.
I think of great comedy too. Like there's the comedy that like a whole family can experience together, and then there's adult comedy that like you don't want. It's not, you know, like anything else, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you get into that sort of the adult themes of comedy, like it's fun as an audience, because I'm not like a stand-up, you know. It's fun to watch people walk that line, you know.
Yeah.
It's like exciting, you know. What are they going to say? What are they going to do? Is it going to be offensive? Is it not? Is it going to be like brilliant? I think that's part of what's fun about being an audience of comedy.
Yeah.
Adult comedy. But like, I don't like mean comedy. I find that like, it's really hard for me to see people, like I've been asked to do roasts a million times and I just can't do it. I just couldn't even, like I just don't, it just doesn't move me in any way.
Yeah.
It's not up to, on my show, what the line is, because I'm not the writer. Based on what Kate was saying about, you know, a room that's children, an audience that's adult, I'm on a show that's got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But families can watch it together, which was Quinta Brunson's intention. But there are things that the kids won't get.
and that adults get. We even use language on my show, not as much as yours, I'm so jealous. But we use language. Melissa Schmente gets bleeped out regularly because she curses. She's South Philly.
Do you have any idea how much those Italian album white truffles go for?
Of course I do, $4K a pound.
Yeah, I don't even think anybody noticed if they went missing.
So what it is that might be edgy, and as a comic, I only am interested in edge. That's where I want to live. Because that's the only way that I think that there are things in this country that are going on. Throughout our lives, there always has been. It's easier to make a point and get ears when you're making people laugh. And we do that on the show quite frequently. They'll do a storyline about the school-to-prison pipeline, but it's not ham-fisted. It's not preachy. It's edgy, but it's all within jokes. So anytime you're actually making people laugh, I think you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
I agree.
Going back to what you said. Full circle.
If it's funny, it's funny enough. He is a character who wears his emotions on his sleeve. You know, he's insecure, a little needy, but he's also very kind and gracious and fun. He's a witty character.
With Mid-Century, it has been described as a gay Golden Girls set in Palm Springs.
Isn't that redundant?
I've done that joke now.
I'm sorry.
Several talk shows.
Wow. Sorry, that should have. Let's do it again, and you.
No, it's fine.
Comics hanging
fine.
out stuff right here.
Yes.
How would you describe it? Okay, how
would I describe it? Well, you know, it's about chosen family. It's about getting older, gay men getting older. It's a multicam. I'm the only multicam here in front of a live studio audience, so I feel like a carny. With these folks, all these single camera shows. And we're out there pumping them for laps. I mean, as a gay man who is getting old, I'm the only real Golden Girl on the show. The way casting went, it started that way, and then, you know, they cast Matt Bomer, and I was like horrified. And
I've never seen a more beautiful human in my life.
I know.
Besides Nathan,
but you know, he is so great and hilarious. But it became then gay men at different stages of their lives. Matt is in his mid-40s, and Nathan Lee Graham, also a wonderful actor, in his 50s, and then Grandpa. So he's, you know, someone who has put all of his time into this business. He's a very wealthy and successful manufacturer of women's bras, and I think he's never had that. The others have had that kind of long-term romantic relationship that he's never had because he was busy with his business. And so this family becomes very important to him, as well as, you know, he's living with his mother, Sybil, played by the late, great Linda Lavin. So it's about that family, the people you choose.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame.
If you'd have been there.
If you'd have seen it, I bet you would have done the same. Bring it home, girls!
What's that like when you get in the groove of multicam? Does it take a second to get into it?
Oh,
Is
is
it different?
Once we started, I was like, I hadn't remembered it at all. It's kind of just this whirlwind, and it's, to be honest, it's more the writer's process. They're at the evolution of the script, where it starts, and then literally up to the last take, they're rewriting, and you do a take, and then they go off and huddle, and they come back, and they can give you 5 or 6 new lines that you're going to do.
Oh, we can't wait.
Which is terrifying, but also is like the most fun. And getting this immediate feedback.
Yeah.
But you
feels
have
like
to.
a different muscle.
You're flying by the seat of your pants, and it's sort of, you know, they say it's a hybrid of theater and film, but it's not until the audience is there that it feels like, oh, we're doing a play. We just haven't learned all the lines yet. You know, it's thrilling and a little nerve-wracking.
I do think Ron's a very good doctor. He's been kind of beaten down by the protocol and the bureaucracy. I think he really, his love is serving people, but the business of medicine has just changed.
So David, I've been feeling the heat. I'm trying.
Yes?
So,
Hold glasses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good.
Thoughtful.
Go on.
Dr. Ron in St. Denis, he's a veteran in this ER room.
Yes.
He's a little curmudgeonly. How much do you relate to him?
A lot. I mean, my dad was a doctor. He was a psychiatrist. So Ron's general personality, I understand. He's just, shut up. Like I would tell my dad, Dad, how do you know if someone's insane? Oh, God. It's just that I understand. So I understand all that. Plus, I'm older, and I understand that. I mean, that's what attracted me to it. He's the oldest doctor on staff. He's a grouchy, but I was like, oh, I know this fucking dude. I could do this. But he's a good doctor. He's a good doctor. I just think he's one of these people that was ground down by the bureaucracy. So he's not we're going to change this whole system, man. That's how we started. When you see him, he's like, okay, fine. He hasn't given up, but he's given a lot. This should have cleared up with the antibiotics I put you on.
Oh, I didn't take them. Don't want to build up a resistance for when I really need them.
Like right now. Just a minute. Yeah, so I like them.
And Paul, since you play the manager to Deborah, who's played by Jean Smart, in real life, how much has that changed your relationship with your manager?
Such a good question.
Awesome. Good question.
It hasn't. The truth is,
I was hoping you'd say that.
It hasn't changed it. I have great reps who I really like, and so playing the part hasn't really changed my relationship with them. I think that they have come to appreciate me even more, though. And representing them. I think it's really.
You write the show, so. Do you ever write something that's dynamic with them that then they see on the show? And then they call and apologize?
No. Well, no. I mean, I think that Jimmy, my character, is very well-meaning and really cares, and so I think they would appreciate seeing that. Yeah. The only thing we've ripped from the headlines is my assistant, Kayla, played brilliantly by Megan Stalter, is based on a couple of different assistants that we have encountered at agencies. And so that is the most we've ripped from the headlines.
That's a great character.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it hasn't really changed my relationship with them. Sorry if that's... Sorry if that's a big downer.
No.
It's really, now I appreciate them. I know what they're going through. I know what they think at night when they lie in bed, It's like I really should get into their headspace.
This is how this is going to go. You're going to stay out of each other's way. You're going to keep your hands to yourself. You're going to keep your panties to yourself. All right? I will be the intermediary, even though I said I'd never do that again after my parents' divorce because it almost destroyed me. But I'm going to do it for you.
I just want to know what it's like working with your spouse on...
Everybody asks that.
You're married?
Yeah, I'm married. Yeah. For us, it feels like a cheat because I don't know how people in the business who have spouses, partners, see each other if they're doing, you know what I mean? We are so lucky that we get to make the show together, and we make it with our best friend, Jen, and so it's been a real cheat code for us to get to do something together. The show's about creative collaboration and comedy, and so to do that with them only makes the show richer. And in some ways, the lines get blurred, but it's also nice to be falling asleep and be like, I have an idea for that. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of, in a way, you're always on, but also you're always off because I don't know, it's so cheesy to say, but it's, because it's comedy and it's fun, it doesn't feel like work if you're having fun. Certain elements are such work and such torture. You know what I mean? Some of it's really hard, but for the most part, it's really fun.
Who is Melissa Schimenti to Lisa? Well, Melissa has some components of Lisa that are similar. She's Sicilian, as is Lisa, and she's sort of tells the truth. She's a truth teller. She is, I want to say, a little more violent than Lisa.
So the subject of American institutions in peril has made for some really great comedy. And we can break it down show by show, but why is it so funny at this point to watch the crumbling of these American institutions, whether you're talking about ER, education, Hollywood, comedy, you know, whatever it is? I mean...
My Sicilian great-grandmother used to say, what are you going to do, cry? I mean, when things are, I think that there are communities in the...
Maybe.
There were very dark
Sounds like
people.
my Sicilian.
There were very dark
Lisa,
people.
you're a victim.
Yes, I like to think so. There are communities that I think have always been funny because of being up against it and struggling with economics or with people that are funny because of whatever they're struggling with. And for all of us to be able to laugh at some of the hideousness that's going on is at least comforting. It's at least comforting to say, okay, they're going through it. I know we hear teachers all the time say, thank you for, I feel seen.
Yeah.
This is what we're living with, and thank you, so.
I'll go wherever you will go.
Yes! She's like your best friend, right?
What are you talking about? She sounds just like him. I crushed it. Whoa, okay.
So, Kate, Running Point is loosely based on
Jeannie Buss, president of the Los Angeles Lakers, who unfortunately are out of the playoffs. Yeah, it was Jeannie went to Mindy Kaling, our writer-creator, and just was like, my life is a comedy, and would you want to write it? And Mindy was like, yes. And then 6 years later, they asked me to come on board, and I'm so happy that I did.
Did you feel like an extra added responsibility playing somebody who is real and somebody who may be watching this?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely didn't want to let Jeannie Buss down. That being said, she's got a great sense of humor. She's married to a comedian, Jay Moore, so she's like loves very inappropriate comedy, and she was really like gave us all the freedom in the world. She was like, go. It doesn't have to be, anything you need, we're here, but like go have fun and make it your own. And she really trusted Mindy and our showrunners and writers and myself. So I was just glad she loved it. At the end of it, we're like, oh, and so they were, her and Linda Rambis. So Brenda Song in the show kind of plays a loosely based Linda Rambis, and it's like Jeannie and Linda, these two like fabulous women running this big male-dominated sports team, and it's so much fun to watch, and then fun to play.
I just want to say that I get it. I acted out once too. You're not happy. There's a lot of trade rumors floating around. Right now you're still on the waves, and your behavior is a direct reflection on this organization.
I think Somebody Somewhere is definitely a dramedy, but to me it's just like, it's life. You laugh, you cry, you fart, you wet your pants. I mean, that's what life is. And I think when we were pitching the show, we didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but once we did the pilot, we just we just wanted to feel like real life. What's that Steel Magnolia saying? Laughter through tears is it's that kind of thing.
Bridget, Somebody Somewhere really defies all the tropes that you often see on television about the Midwest. And in terms of how people there might deal with sexuality or race or otherness. And it's just so beautifully done. Yes. Were you drawing from your own upbringing in Kansas?
I think the idea was just to sort of show people where they are. Just think that we wanted to see people as people, no matter if you're straight, gay, trans, whatever, and just people walking through life, and so it just is pretty simple, really, like just to not make fun of Kansas and not to make, my family's from there, so I have to go home there, and it so happens that, you know, a lot of my friends in real life are queer and trans, so they sort of populate the world because that's what felt right to us. But there wasn't really a need to comment on that, just to let people live their lives, and because that stuff's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what people are having French toast for the table, or what they sit and talk about in cars. Like, I love scenes where two people are sitting in a car and they're not looking at each other, because it's like you can really be truthful with each other when you don't have to, you know, we struggle with this.
You and David?
Yes.
I thought we weren't good.
I just want French toast now.
Did I answer the question? Probably not. You can edit it in post.
No,
You know?
and more.
We do our best. It's just water, but it's just water.
You know what? If you're good, I'm good.
I'm good.
Promise.
Yes, promise.
Okay. Well, can I keep this?
Sure, why?
Because I want to wear it to your housewarming party.
Oh, God. Please don't.
I think I can make it work. It's got just enough give to pop over these things.
Coming up through cabaret and then doing this show, was there some great sort of shift you had to do? Or was it just kind of like, I'm moving my world into making the show?
Well, yeah, if you've ever, you know, I don't know how many cabaret fans we have in the house tonight. Nathan's been much. But, you know, I mean, like, it's a much bigger, sort of wilder ride. And so doing a TV show, I was like I've done some acting, you know, in movies and TV and all that stuff. But this is like the first time it was going to be a more of a complex situation. I was really scared. But fortunately, you know, Carolyn Strauss is our mother. I would say she's like sort of the, you know, she's sort of the backstop of it all. And I just felt like there was something freeing about having her be like, oh, that's good. You know, she doesn't give you a lot, but just enough. Yeah, that's good. And then you're like, okay. And then you just sort of keep going and keep trying to grow. So I don't know. I found it actually really exciting to do TV and film or this specific show, because I feel like I got to really explore so many parts of creativity, like learning about producing and writing and taking care of people on set. But I just grew so much doing it, and that's probably the best thing. I finally walked away at the end being like, I deserve to be here. I've earned this. Wow. And so, you know,
Yay.
It took 3 years and a lot of crying.
Jimmy kind of was an integral part of the story from the beginning, only because we knew that we needed there to be a conduit between Ava and Deborah's character. His dad was sort of a legend in comedy management and started this management company, so he's a bit of a Nepo baby, and we just thought it was fun to play with that dynamic.
Okay, so being typecast, I want to jump to this. So
Finally.
Finally, the one you've been waiting for,
Yeah,
the typecast question. Being typecast, are there roles that frequently come to you or have in the past frequently come to you that you're like, oh my God, stop? I mean, is there something where, yeah, let's start with you.
Oh, not another mysterious drifter.
It's true. I can't tell you how bored I am with being the gorgeous object of men's desire. I named my first production company Ingenue's Fat Funny Friend. I think that this is true. I literally have a voice that sounds that you're the Eve Arden in this project, whatever it is. I don't have the luxury, or didn't as a mother of four in Los Angeles, saying, I really want to branch out. Let me, I did say, can I play someone smart? My father was a NASA physicist. My mother was brilliant. I was a little over doing things I could do in my sleep, always getting the part where it's the woman who sticks her head out of the trailer door and goes, I didn't kill him, but I ain't sorry he's dead. I know.
That was very moving.
Thank you. I'm on the phone with my people going, come on, everybody in America cried on the Chessie scene, I Am Annie. You all cried. Can you give me an opportunity to make you cry again? But the truth is, in this business, that sometimes women who are built like me, oftentimes, the smart role, the lawyer in the project is somebody, this this shape. It's not very frequent that they branch out in terms of their creativity to think, okay, somebody can look a little different and play, this same smart person. But I will tell you that I got a whole bunch of roles in a row when I had this porn blonde hair that I had for the movie Shall We Dance. Dyed my hair this white dancer blonde, and then I kept getting cast with that hair because it was so specific. And it was always some version of this blousy broad. And then I dyed my hair red and said, can I play someone who has a college education? And I did, finally. But it took Quinta to do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay. She can be curvy and still be smart.
Kind of like they're begging us to steal them. You thinking what I'm thinking? I'm feeling a little bit heisty. You be the Oceans, I'll be the 11. Catch me if you can. We about to set it off. I'm up for this Italian job. We be gone in 60 seconds. And then we be out of sight. Girl.
You know what? I found that the older I've gotten, the roles I'm offered has broadened. And I've played a variety of really challenging, great roles because I'm old and stuff now. And that's been a real joy because I didn't really expect that. I just thought I'd be retired, actually. I did. I just thought that's it. So it's been awesome, man, because that's what I want. I think we all want.
Yeah.
To just give you all of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you could do that with a lot of lines, and other times you don't need a lot of lines. I need a lot of lines, but I'm saying to the people.
For the rest of you.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
peons.
I reached a point, there was I was doing a musical on Broadway called The Addams Family. And which had been reviled by the critics. And yet the public wanted to see it, so it was running. But there was an article written and about me, and it was sort of a career assessment article, and it was a very nice piece. But it referred to me as the greatest stage entertainer of the last decade, and I thought, and as flattering as it was, I can find the dark cloud in any silver lining. And I felt, that's how they see me, as an entertainer. And because of musicals and things like The Birdcage or The Lion King, it was all about that, comedy and entertaining. And I felt like, at that point, I've been an actor for 35 years, and I thought, I think I have more to offer. And at least in the theater, I had some flexibility and to do something different, to say, well, what about this? And so I wound up doing The Iceman Cometh in Chicago at the Goodman Theater with Bob Falls, the director, and a very old friend of mine, Brian Denis. And I had read an article, an interview with them discussing their longtime collaborations, and they were talking about Iceman and thinking about revisiting it with Brian playing this other part of Larry Slade. And I thought, but they were saying, who could we get to play Hickey, the Jason Robards, famously the part that changed his life and career. And so I thought I should do that. That would change everything. And so I sort of made it happen. I contacted Bob and suggested myself, and he said, well, really, we weren't going to do it. But anyway, it led to a production. And then, of course, I was in Chicago, and I thought, what was I thinking? It's a 5-hour play, and now I'm going to go out and talk for 40 minutes, tell my life story in the last act. But it was life-changing. It was thrilling. I mean, it's Eugene O'Neill. So if you're looking to change your careers and lives, I would highly recommend O'Neill, because he's daring you to be as brave as he is in the writing, and to jump off this cliff with him. But it changed everything for me. And it was the beginning that led to other things, and I thought I was able to shift the perception a little, that it was more than just entertainment. But it was a concerted effort over a period of 10, 15 years of trying to do that or seeking that out. But it's difficult because everybody wants to put you in a box.
Can I just say this? it's a consternation to me that there is an idea that if you are known comedically, that's what you do, that it is somehow in this business less respected than drama. And I want to say, first of all, we all know that that is simply not true. If you do any comic, I used to like to say that if you cut a comic, you find twisted, you find dark. We are quite capable of playing all of the things. The fact that we could do comedy
Sometimes
means...
I think even more so.
Even more so.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Meryl Streep and all those wonderful movies that she did when I was a young person and thinking, she's wonderful, but she cries in different accents and okay, great. And then she did that movie with Roseanne Barr. I can't even remember the name of the movie.
She-Devil.
She-Devil. And I went, this bitch is good. Like, she made me laugh. And then Death Becomes Her. And I was like, okay. She is a talent for the ages.
I think she's
Postcards
funny
from
in
the
Doubt,
Edge.
too, actually, believe it or not. You know, she's kind of funny.
Hilarious in Doubt.
She does do some funny things. Popping into the camera. You know what I mean? There's nobody, and she popped in. She's doing some comedy there. All right, sorry.
All I'm saying
she's
is
funny.
that
She's funny. Meryl's
doing
funny.
the drama is stuff that they should assume that we can do and do well, I think. And I'm sorry.
I feel like there's this weird thing that if it's effortless, it means you're not working for it. And when you're in it, you really like, you admire the people who know how to make something that you have to work so hard for effortless.
Yeah.
So when you're watching it and it feels so easy, that's like really hard to do. And I think that sometimes becomes the thing that, like, if you see someone working, that means
good
that
point.
it's
Yeah,
that they're
look at the
doing
technique.
Yeah, like wow.
But I mean,
know,
and then you think, there are movies, and you brought it up about movies that you watch and you can watch over and over, and you've done those movies. You do it. I watch you do these things where effortlessly it's funny, but I cry 3 times a movie, and I'm invested.
Isla Gordon she's very looked over in her family as someone who could be in sports. I think she has a lot of insecurity when it comes to feeling validated by her family in terms of what she's capable of. And so when she's sort of handed this job, not only feels like she needs to prove something to her family, but she then realizes how quickly she needs to prove it to the world, the sports world.
So you are all recognizable. People know who you are, but I'm sure you've been out in public where you have gotten mistaken for somebody else. And I'm just wondering who that would be or who you get mistaken for most often.
Chalamet. It's absolutely uncanny. It's nuts. I don't even get it. I don't see it. I don't get it. But, you know, I don't know.
I went to a performance
that's good.
of a David Mamet show on Broadway. I went backstage, and this particular day, it was when Broadway was raising money to benefit AIDS and treatment of AIDS. Exactly. So there was a Midwestern couple there with their young son, and they saw me, and the house manager said, this couple, they're going to give us an extra $1,000 if you take a picture with them. And would you mind? I'm like, yeah, cool. Get into heaven. So I'm posing, and the dad goes, we love you so much. The wife says, we're big fans. Our son loves you, and it is our honor to take a picture with you, Mr. LeVar Burton. Now, in that moment, I said, if I say no, people will die. And so, but I don't have any fucking ego about this. And I looked at them and I went, you like me in Roots? They said, we loved you. Click, we took the picture. I'm not gonna be like, how dare you? You know, it was like the money.
Rainbow.
Yes, yeah. Oh, they talked about all that, and I said, there's 2 roads, David. In my head, the dark road or the road to light. So I chose the road to light. I didn't care in that situation. I didn't care.
I'm trying to think. Peg Bundy, maybe I got a couple of times. As soon as I open my mouth, they know who I am.
Okay.
It's like a voice that, especially because of the Parent Trap, they've heard so much that as soon as they hear that, they're like, I thought that might be. If I hide my hair, maybe I don't get recognized as much. But as soon as I talk, I get made. Yeah.
And if a lot of Drew Barrymore.
Really?
Yeah. I get a lot of like Drew, and then every other Kate. Like it'll be like Kate Winslet, Katie Holmes, Katie Kate, any of the Kates.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. Yeah, I've gotten all of them. Yeah.
Do you correct them?
No, never. No, I just say yes. Sign it, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? Just because I love everybody here. I'd love to know who everybody's like comedic inspiration was growing up. Like, who was the person that just you were like, oh my God,
I have a really good answer for that for you. So when I was a little girl, my dad used to let me stay up and watch the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. It was way past my bedtime. I got to watch Get Smart, and I got to watch Laugh In. And the comedic inspirations for me, and I got to tell George Slaughter this at an event that they held for him, where I met your mom. I got to see Ruth Buzzy, rest in peace, and Goldie Hawn, and Lily Tomlin, Joanne Worley, and all these women be funny. And that's what made me say, you can get a job doing this that I get in trouble for at school. You can have a job being a funny woman. And I said that to George. I said, that's what made me know.
Oh,
it's the best.
Just one really quick thing for you. Did you know your mom was funny?
Oh, yeah.
Or was she just your mom? Like,
no,
you know,
she's nuts. She's funny and my mom's physical comedy doesn't stop. Like, it's just in her. She's just, she's physical in whatever, you know. You should see her getting on and off like a boat, you know, when she's trying to like get into the water. It's just, she just can't help but be physical with her comedy.
That's what Instagram's
She's always
for, Kate.
funny.
Get on that.
She's goofy.
I would say my comedy hero is Richard Pryor, man.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, because as a little kid, comedy is all generational. And when you're a kid, like I'd be this black little boy in Detroit, and like Georgie Jessel would come on the Mike Douglas show, and he might as well have been speaking Russian. 'Cause I'm like, why is he wearing this uniform? What is it? How can this be comedy? Then I saw Richard Pryor, and he was the first comic who I just went, wow, this guy's hilarious. He's my spirit animal. I've had chances to meet him when he was still alive. I was too nervous. But definitely Richard Pryor.
And you know, I said Robin Williams because that's true. That's my first thought. But I grew up watching Nick at Night. And so for me, it was like Mary Tyler Moore and Lucille Ball.
Yes.
And I remember one of my first comedies that my dad showed me was Young Frankenstein. And I remember Terry Garr and Cloris Leachman and Madeline Kahn. And so there were all of these women that I was always like, the women are the funniest ones. You know, I really did. I did. Oh my God. I mean, stay close to the candles. The stairs can be treacherous. All of those. I mean, like that was my first foray into doing comedy was doing
best. I know.
Cloris Leachman's line.
I got to work with her. It was
my
one
gosh.
of the great.
Incredible.
Yeah, so lucky.
So lucky.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I mean, honestly, like I'm the youngest of 6, so I'd sit in the basement listening to Steve Martin and Richard Pryor, and I loved Lucille Ball and Vitamin Benjamin and all of the stuff you're talking about. But honestly, for me, like it's probably my mom, and also my brothers and sisters were so funny. We would sit around the Thanksgiving table, and everybody would make fun of each other until somebody cried. Too. But
sounds like our family.
And my parents were divorced, but my dad was like an incredibly witty, very like just so precise, very funny, sly and whatever. But my mom had this like just kind of, she had no idea she was funny. Honestly, there's nobody that taught me more about how to be funny than my mom, because she just had this way of being in her body that I've used in my live shows. It's led to where I'm now, and I just think that, she died, and so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It just really, she's really meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
She died 3 years ago. It's not like yesterday, but but I just think about who she made me. Like there's no comedy. There's nothing. you know, she had these like long tits, so we called her beaver tails, and like she would make fun of them. It's very, but she loved it. Like she loved it. She used to wet her pants, and she had to put like towels down on all the chairs in the house, and she just didn't care. And that shows you to not care. As much as I live in fear, but not when I'm, because I feel like she's with me. So I don't know. I think that's mine.
Oh, lovely.
Oh
my gosh.
Closed beautifully.
Thank you all so much. This has been really fun. No wonder you do comedy. This has been great.
Thank you very much.
Oh, this is so fun.
I have found myself watching All in the Family. There's a network, I think it's called the Me Network.
Shows that I love, Hacks is one of them.
We watched The Traitors.
Christina on the Coast is really good, though. I like that.
Ken Burns, about 100 times. The Civil War and baseball.